Today's story is about a girl who, to save her life and honor, goes through such pain and suffering inside her own car for 3 days and 3 nights that it will make your heart tremble. So hello. At the beginning of the story, we see Mallory, who is driving through a deserted desert area. Actually, she is engaged, and in just a few days she is going to get married. But there is some conflict going on between her and her fiancé. That's why she is not very happy about the wedding. But for the wedding preparations, she had to go to a nearby city. And to get there, she also sees a shortcut. On the way, her sister Ella video calls her. Her sister studies in Oxford and wants to settle there after finishing her education. She tells Mallory that she still hasn't booked a flight ticket to attend the wedding, because she wants Mallory to first decide whether she is really happy with this marriage or not. So Mallory, with a slight smile, says yes, she is happy. After that, Mallory, while driving alone, she sets out on the roads, and after going a little ahead, she takes a shortcut. The road was fine, and this was the only way to reach the city quickly. Then she plays music and starts moving forward while enjoying a little. But after going quite far, suddenly the car stops in the middle of the road. She gets out and checks the engine and tries to start it, but nothing happens. She feels that now she is stuck, and here her phone also had no signal. She sits in the car for a while thinking. She wished someone would come along who could help her. Just then, when she was about to open an energy drink, suddenly the can bursts and her shirt gets ruined. Then she goes behind the car to change her clothes. But at that moment, suddenly a boy arrives, seeing whom she gets scared. But that boy starts behaving nicely with Mallory and introduces himself as Christian. Hearing his words, Mallory relaxes a bit, that at least she found someone who will help her. But during this, Mallory feels strange. She was nervous because Christian was a stranger, and she felt very uncomfortable. But after trying for a while, he fixes the car. Mallory is impressed by his help and tries to give him money while thanking him. But Christian refuses and tells her to drive safely. After that, Mallory leaves with her car. But then she realizes that Christian helped her so much, and now he is going on foot. So out of humanity, she decides to give him a lift and takes him along. She takes him along. Now both of them start traveling together and move forward while talking. For Mallory, Christian was a stranger, but he speaks very softly and tries to make Mallory feel that he is a good guy. Hearing his words, Mallory also starts sharing her personal matters, that in a few days she is going to get married and she is going to the city for its preparations. During this, Christian starts flirting with Mallory, which she ignores. But in the course of conversation, Christian's behavior gradually starts becoming strange. He says that fate has brought us together, and maybe all this was meant to happen. Then he starts saying dirty things, which makes Mallory feel that this man is not as decent as he appears. From his words, she feels unsafe and stops the car and says, "That's enough, now get out of the car." But Christian's intentions had already turned bad. He takes out a knife and threatens Mallory that if you don't obey me, then the consequences will be very bad. So quietly drive the car and don't try to be clever. So out of fear, she starts driving the car. After that, Mallory asks, "Why are you doing all this?" So he says, "When the car got fixed, you were leaving from there. Then why did you give me a lift? Now I have started liking you a lot. So come with me. Nearby there is a house of mine. There we will spend the night together." But then she sees that Christian is not wearing a seatbelt, and just then there is also a turning point on the road. She notices it. After that, she suddenly increases the speed, and as soon as she takes the turn, she deliberately drives the car into a ditch. Then we see that Mallory is now hanging upside down inside the car. One of her legs is badly stuck in the seat, and she cannot even move. Meanwhile, Christian, because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, fell out of the car and became unconscious. But Mallory's condition was even worse. She tries a lot to free her leg, but because it was stuck badly, it was impossible to pull it out. Then she sees Christian's knife lying nearby. Yes, So before he regains consciousness, Mallory somehow picks up the knife. Just then Christian regains consciousness and comes near her, and before that Mallory hides the knife. Christian sees that one of Mallory's legs is stuck, and she cannot get out without someone's help. Then he smiles and says, "If you can get out, then get out yourself. I won't help." Then he leaves her there hanging upside down in the car and walks away. Mallory keeps pleading for help, but he doesn't listen to a single word. Now she had no way to escape. She screams loudly for help. But after the accident, the car had fallen quite far down from the road. And here we are shown that at a short distance from the car, there was a river. Now it had become night, but still no one had come to help. Her leg was still stuck, and as the night got deeper, the cold also increased, which made her condition worse. She looks around and finds one of her clothes in the car which she wears, and also turns on the car heater to get some warmth. But the problem here was not just the cold, but the place where she was stuck was a wild area. Then suddenly she realizes that wild animals are roaming around her. So she immediately turns off the car headlights so that the animals don't come near. This trick works, and somehow she manages to survive the night. The next morning, when she wakes up, there are still some animals around. So she tries to look in the mirror to check if there is any attacking animal. But fortunately, there were only some deer. Suddenly, Christian arrives there again, who looked completely fine, because since he had fallen outside during the accident, he didn't get much injured. He comes near Mallory and starts talking to her. And seeing her condition, he doesn't feel any pity at all. Instead, like a mad person, he starts enjoying her suffering. Mallory says, "Please at least give me some water and something to eat." But teasing her, Christian sits in front of her and calmly starts eating and drinking. Then he says, "If you answer some of my questions, I will give you food." Mallory was very hungry and thirsty. Then, shamelessly, he starts asking when and with whom you were intimate for the first time. So unwillingly, Mallory answers that she was 17 at that time. Then he says, "Show me," by imagining that moment. So helplessly Mallory does that too. Then he asks many kinds of useless questions, which Mallory answers. But then he starts laughing that you really believed it. It's a pity how bad your luck is. If only you had listened to me, music, then such a bad ending wouldn't have happened. Then he tells that, a little distance from here, I saw a cabin, which probably belongs to a family. But right now, it is empty, and you should be careful, because you might not survive for long. Saying all this, he leaves. But Mallory keeps requesting again and again, "Please help me. Don't leave me like this." But it has no effect. Now comes the second night, where there is darkness all around, and it is very cold. Her leg had also gone numb. But this time, luckily she finds a lighter in the car, with which she burns some paper and things to create a little light, so that she could get some warmth. Then, due to exhaustion, she sleeps for a while. But after some time, a rat comes and starts biting her. She wakes up in fear and sees that many rats have come there. So in fear she tries to drive them away and even kills one. Now she was completely fed up, because the cold, hunger, and thirst were breaking her from inside. Then after a while she realizes that maybe the rats coming wasn't so bad, because now at least she had something to eat. She was so hungry that helplessly she had to put a rat in the fire and cook it to eat. It feels strange to her, but she couldn't stay without eating anything. After that, she rests for a while. Then the next morning when she wakes up, suddenly she hears her phone ringing. But the phone was a little far from her reach, which she somehow brings closer. Now seeing the phone, a hope arises in her heart that maybe now she can survive. But just then Christian arrives there again, so she quickly hides the phone. Now Christian again starts talking about that cabin, that the family living in the cabin has returned. But I have locked them inside their own cabin so that they cannot reach you even by mistake. But now you don't need to be afraid, because I have brought something to help you. But just then Mallory's phone starts ringing. Hearing the sound, he forcefully snatches the phone. Mallory starts screaming because this was her last hope of escape. but he takes the phone and breaks it. After that, he takes out a hammer from the bag, seeing which Mallory gets scared that maybe he's going to kill her. But then, he takes out a blade and gives it to her. Then Mallory nervously asks, "What are you going to do with this?" Christian says, "I am giving you this blade so that you can cut your leg and free yourself from here, and this is your last option. Otherwise, you will be killed here." Mallory starts crying. "I can't do this. Please take me out. I won't tell anyone anything about you. You want me to spend the night with you, right? I am ready to give you whatever you want." But he doesn't listen to anything, and finally gives her the blade and leaves. Now Mallory, she holds the blade in her hand and tries to cut the place where her leg was stuck, but she cannot do it, and in anger throws the blade away. Then night falls, and she starts feeling very thirsty because she hadn't drunk water for a long time. There was a river nearby, but if only she could reach there. But luck was on her side. After a while, heavy rain starts, and it feels like life returns to her. She drinks water freely, which gives her some relief. Then, after some time, when she turns on the radio, she comes to know that because of rain and storm, many roads are getting flooded. So people are leaving the main road and moving towards the shortcut road. From this she understands that surely someone will pass from here. So she starts screaming for help. After a while, a car stops there, but that car belongs to none other than Christian. Now, as soon as he stops the car and starts coming towards her, Mallory understands and thinks of a plan. She starts pretending to be dead, as if she died while cutting her leg. After that, Christian takes a torch and comes there. Now he comes and starts checking whether she is dead or not. Just then, getting the chance, Mallory attacks him with the knife. And during this, she takes his car keys and locks the car door with the remote and turns on the car siren. Then pretends to throw the keys far away so that he also gets stuck here, and people passing by might stop seeing a stalled car. But that same Christian goes to the road and turns off the car siren and starts acting as if because of the rain, his car has broken down and he is unable to fix it. Just then, a police officer arrives there with sirens, seeing whom Christian says, "My car has broken down. Can you drop me to the nearby cabin?" But seeing the police car, Mallory starts screaming, "Help me," and starts making noise by throwing stones so that the police officer can hear her. The police officer does hear some sound and starts looking towards the ditch, but because of the loud rain, he gets confused. Meanwhile, Christian tells him that the storm is getting more dangerous, so we should leave immediately. After that, Christian takes the police officer with him, and Mallory keeps screaming. But now there was no one to hear her. Now here we see that due to continuous rain, the water waves start pushing the car towards the nearby stream, and in a short time, a lot of water fills inside the car, putting Mallory in trouble. She realizes that if she doesn't do something quickly, she won't survive. After that, gathering courage, she tries to cut her leg with the blade, because there was no other option. There was no other option, and as soon as she makes a slight cut, suddenly the car gets carried by the water, and finally falls into the river. At that very moment, her leg also comes free. After that, she gets out of the car and somehow swims to the shore. She had become very weak and needed medical help as soon as possible, but somehow controlling herself, she picks up a stick nearby, and with its support, starts moving forward. A little distance from here, there was a cabin which Christian had mentioned. She starts moving forward in search of it, and after some distance, as she moves ahead, she sees a cabin. But as soon as she reaches near the cabin, she hears the voice of a girl who was screaming for help. She immediately understands that maybe Christian has held that family captive. After that, she moves forward very carefully. But while walking, suddenly the stick in her hand gets caught in a bear trap. Luckily, she survives and keeps moving forward. Being cautious was very important because she knew Christian would be somewhere here. Then she secretly peeks into a room and sees that a girl has been tied up, and she was the one screaming for help. But it could be risky to save her right now. So when she moves ahead and looks into another room, she sees Christian brutally beating that police officer. She was seeing everything, but doesn't take action yet. Then slowly she goes inside and sees that Christian has killed the entire family except that girl. After that, she picks up the police officer's gun and quietly goes inside and tries to untie that girl. Meanwhile, Christian was in another room wearing the police uniform. So she was trying to quickly untie the girl's hands. Suddenly hearing Christian's voice, she hides behind the door. Then as soon as he enters the room, Mallory holds him at gunpoint. But at that moment, Christian attacks her and tries to kill her. Seeing this, that girl also starts fighting with Christian. Mallory tells her to run immediately, and while fighting, manages to escape. But Christian was not someone who would give up so easily. He starts searching for Mallory in all the rooms. Mallory was hiding under a table. But he finds her and tries to catch and kill her. Just then, somehow Mallory attacks him and escapes again. But Christian gets up again, and this time goes outside to search. But suddenly Mallory comes from behind and attacks him and throws him down from the balcony. As he falls down, his leg gets stuck in a bear trap, and he starts screaming in pain. Now Christian was trapped in the same way as Mallory was trapped. After that, Mallory comes down with that girl and giving Christian his knife, she says, "Do you need any help? Just like you gave me the blade, in the same way I am returning your knife to you. Take it and cut your leg. This is your last option. Otherwise, you won't survive." Christian was writhing in pain. But whatever he had done, music, the outcome of all that was bound to be like this. Then Mallory talks about fate, that maybe you were right. Our meeting on the road, and in the end your dying like this without reason, was probably written in fate. It's a pity how bad your luck is. After that, she leaves Christian there to die in pain, and goes away from there with that girl. And thus this story ends here. So, I hope you liked this story very much.